Oi, lads. I was told, it was claimed in the chat, that all alchemy cards have been revealed. Well, first off, let's find out if this is true or false. Alright, here we go. 15 rare, 10 uncommon, 5 rares. Well, okay. Chat was not lying. True statements have been made. Looks like I belong over in this corner. Give me a zoom in. Oh my god, the zoom in doesn't make the pictures bigger. It just makes everything else bigger. What? Makes everything bigger except the one thing I want to be bigger. Okay, so these cards come out tomorrow, chat, and also new to the alchemy scene. They're going to have a draft format for it this time, which we will be trying. So the draft format will be just your normal Streets of New Capenna draft, but in each pack, one common will be cut from the pack and one random alchemy card will be added to that pack. So some of your packs will have 2 rares, for example, you know. So that should be fun. It's also a way to get the cards too, finally. But anyway, Celestial Vault. Alright, first off, what do people play at the moment in Alchemy that's not Rakdos midrange? I can't remember a single other deck. What are we trying to beat here? Runes? Mono green. Mono green, runes, clerics. Okay, yeah. It's all coming flooding back. Okay. Celestial Vault, 2-mana artifact. For a white and a Taparino, you can draft a card from the spellbook and exile it face down. Control click, control shift. Ho ho ho! This guy knows Chrome. Oh, the spellbook is all angels. So it's angel draw. So it's draw for angels or for a control deck, I guess. I mean, a control deck wouldn't mind cracking this in the late game, right? And drawing a bunch of ways to finally end the game. You can finally play 0 creature control, chat. This is your win con. A bunch of angels. It seems pretty good, man. And it's a decent selection of angels also. Most of them are pretty okay. You've got all the best ones and then some okay ones. Turn 4, fetch a card. You're not going to crack it on turn 4 though. Do you play this in Angels? I would play it in Angels if I was playing Angels. So. Card's gas. I mean, Angels is a medium deck. But it's a medium deck because it draws no cards. If it drew cards, it would be a very strong deck. This thing solves the one major problem Angels have. What do you cut for that? Well, I don't know, man. Just one of the 20 shit cards that are in the deck. And then thankfully you've only got 16 left. That thing is good for sure. Y'all are a bunch of haters, dude. Angels is bad in Alchemy. Yeah, and why is it bad in Alchemy? It's bad in Alchemy because it doesn't draw any cards, so as soon as your board gets wiped once, you lose. Well, what kind of thing could solve that problem? Let's have a think. Herald of Vengeance. Also an angel. Angel's getting buffed AF. 5 mana, 4/5 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, destroy each permanent you don't control. Okay, I'm going to stop reading there. This card's gas. That has the same name as a permanent that dealt damage to you last turn. Isn't this like... This one's also really good. This is a bomb midrange card. Kills manlands and creatures. Well, it kills everything that kills you. So it's the perfect midrange card. You need to survive a face hit on turn 5 though. What's that got to do with anything? You've got the rest of your deck, man. I see this is the review where we pretend that Connoisseur doesn't exist. Connoisseur does exist, yes, but I think if you're playing this in any white mid-range deck, you would also have, if you weren't playing this, you would have an alternative 5-mana card in that deck anyway, so I don't think it matters. Yeah, I mean, it kills everything that kills you. White mid-range, Keck W. What do you mean white mid-range Keck W? The best deck in Standard is a white mid-range deck. Dead versus Control? I don't think that matters, man. This is a card for a mid-range deck, and you get a flyer, and you'll have plenty of answers to control in your mid-range pile. This thing removes everything that your opponent has that kills you. And if you're not dying as the mid-range player, then you win. This thing is absolutely insane. Insane? Kick out. Dude, this thing is insane. I haven't seen all the cards. I'll be surprised if this is not the best card in this set. We'll see what the rest of them are, but I'll be shocked if this is not the best one. We'll see. But it is a banger, dude. Skyline Savior. 3 mana, 3/4. When it enters the battlefield, return a permanent you control to its owner's hand. Bounce your own thing. Okay. If it's a non-angel creature, it gets +1/+1 flying and becomes an angel. Okay, this one is trash. Agent of Rafine. 1 mana, 1/2 rogue. For 2 and a tappers, choose target opponent. Choose target opponent on an Arena Alchemy card? What's the point in that? They're adding 4-player to the game? Pog? Conspiracy theory incoming? Otherwise, this is completely pointless text. 4-player incoming. Or, let's not say 4-player, more than 2-player. Conjure a duplicate of the top card of their library into your hand. Conjure a duplicate of the top card of their library into your hand. Okay? You may spend mana as though it were mana of blah blah blah. Then they exile the top card of their library face down. You don't get to use lands? You may conjure a copy of it into your hand. Oh no, you should get to use lands, right? I mean, this one also seems really good too. Chat, am I becoming a boomer? Am I overrating cards? I don't know. Do I need to have a reboot? Because that's 3 out of 4 seem good. Am I going crazy? Let me have a little wiggle. Reset the mind. This one is not that good, but I mean, it seems fine. But these two are, like, for sure good. I can see this Agent of Rafine being in a deck. I mean, I'm certain that I'm going to play against it at some point. I'm not certain if I'm going to have it in my own deck. It seems pretty good. But it is a slow Andy, isn't it? And slow decks are just trash, bro. Absolutely terrible. We'll see. Let's put this one in the potential pile. Choice of Fortunes. 3 mana sorcery, seek 2. You may go again. You have to put both back, huh? Both or 0? Pfft, seems trash. I mean, compared to Fable, this thing is just absolutely awful, isn't it? Nightclub Bouncer, 4 mana, 2/3 flash. When it enters the battlefield, bounce a thing I sleep. Costs 1 more. Bounce a permanent. It's just way too much mana, bro. 4 mana. Graven Archfiend. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may sack a non-demon creature. It's an artifact creature with flying. 4/5. When it enters the battlefield, if the cost was paid, conjure a card named Demonic Pact onto the battlefield. What's Demonic Pact again? Deal 4, gain 4. Draw and discard, right? And then die? Yeah. Seems kind of shitty. Seems okay. But you can't play this in any deck that doesn't have ways to sack the enchantment, and just those type of decks are just bad. It seems bad to me. Shattering Finale. 2 mana sorcery, casualty 1, -3 toughness. This thing is bad, right? Not horrible removal? I would say it is, though. I mean, compare this thing to Molten Impact. This is a Molten Impact where you have to sacrifice your own guy just to make it worse. Comparing stuff to Molten Impact, weird. That's the format, dude. Of course you're going to compare it to the removal that gets used in the format. That thing has to be bad. Xander's Wake, enchantment for 2. Whenever one or more creatures you control die, draft a card. Whenever one or more creatures you control die, draft a card. Once each turn, bedge. When a creature you controls dies, get one of these. Bad. Big spender. 2 mana, 2/1 haste. Whenever one or more creatures you control become blocked, create a treasure. Sack 2 artifacts, draft a card. Sack 2 artifacts, draft a card. You can get a land. Being able to get a land is always good. They're all artifacts, huh? So you can go again. That's pretty cool. But they're not really ones that you want to sack, though. Where are all the artifacts that you want to sack to your big spender? Yeah, where's the Icker, mate? You've got this fox, I guess, but it's pretty weak sauce. Where are the artifacts you want to spend mana to cast? That one seems pretty bad too, I've got to say. Pass the torch. But the spellbook seems bad. 2/1 haste for 2. So you only get a treasure if they get blocked. I mean, whatever. Alright, pass the torch. 2 mana instant. Deal 2 to any target. Choose a creature card in your hand. It perpetually gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may cast target card named Pass the Torch from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If you do, this creature perpetually loses this ability. I'll let him. Deal 2 to any target. Choose a creature in your hand. That creature has text which says, when this deals combat damage to a player, you may cast Pass the Torch from your graveyard. So you get to deal 2. And then you get to put Pass the Torch on another creature again. I mean, that has to be the nuts, no? That has to be the nuts. You need to always have a creature in your hand? No, you don't. It says you may cast it. So if it's a spot where you can wait, you can wait if you want until you draw a creature and then do it. This thing has to be good. There's no way in hell this thing's bad. Pretty sure it's only good if your creature can reliably deal damage to an opponent. But I don't know, chat. Like your deck only has to be able to recast this one time for it to be insane. And anytime you get to recast it more than one time, then you're breaking the game. So, I mean, there's no way this thing is not the nuts. This card is good. We will see what decks we play it in, but this card is good. There ain't no discussion about it.
Finally happened.
Traumatic Prank. Yoink. The creature gets this creature can't block, and at the beginning of your upkeep, this deals 1 damage to you. I sleep. Take me back to a world where yoink costs 1, please. You can't let me yoink for 1 and then expect me to start paying 3. Giant Regrowth. 3 mana instant. Get a card back. If it's a creature, it gets +3/+3. Just shit. 2 mana Aura enchantment. These cards are tomorrow, yeah. Enchant land. When loose in the park enters the battlefield, draw a card. Well, that's always good on any enchantment. Then draft a card from the spellbook and exile it. For 3, enchanted land becomes a copy of the exiled card until end of turn and gains haste. It's still a land. 2 mana. Put this on a land, draw a card. and then exile one of these. Just medium mid-range green creatures. Okay. So it's 2 mana, draw a card, and create a manland? Okay. I mean, this card is insane too. What the fuck? It's only 3 to activate the manland? Bro, this thing is crazy. The creatures are not bad. All creatures able to block Prize Unicorn do so. That's a good one. When it dies, draw a card, sure. Hexproof, World Shaper is pretty cool. You can get one that lets you double block 2 creatures. Alright, this card is nasty, dude. Remember, you just when you cast it, you just psycho, man. You get a redraw. 2 mana, draw a card, create a manland of your choice for this particular game. It is insane. It's such a cool card too. We've not really seen anything like this before. I can't believe it only costs 3 to activate your land. That's so cheap, man. There's only one problem with this card, chat. It actually dies to Herald of Vengeance, so GG's. Rip your lands. That's the only issue, man. You're gonna get farmed by the Herald of Vengeance. Different name? What do you mean different name? Oh, it goes back to being a forest when you cast a creature, so it actually dodges it. So it's even better. Holy bejolies. It's a ninja card. When you attack, it's called Hexproof Horsey. But when your opponent plays the angel, it's called Forest. What are you gonna do? The card's gas. Maybe the best card in the set so far, but don't tell anyone, chat. Don't tell anyone. Menagerie Curator. 2 mana, 1/3. Mana Dark. Spend it only to cast creatures though. When you cast a creature spell that doesn't share a creature type with a creature card in your library, draw a card. Eh? 2 mana henge? 2 mana henge. How? What do you mean how? You cast a creature, you draw a card. I mean, this card is also insane, but yeah, you're never going to be able to make a deck with this, sadly. But obviously it's good. Run lots of spell books. It's cool. It's a cool card. Arming Gala. 5 mana enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, creatures you control and creature cards in your hand, library, and graveyard perpetually get +1/+1. Board, hand, library, and graveyard. I mean, buffing your library is pretty good. It does end games. I would not put this in my deck, chat. But, you know, it could be worth a try. It seems too slow for Alchemy, though. But it is incredibly strong. If you can cast this without dying, which you can't, so GG. Back Alley Gardener. Alliance. Whenever one or more other creatures enter the battlefield under your control, seek a land and put it on the battlefield tapped. Other creatures. Okay, this thing's awful. It's Pog. This thing's trash, mate. Any land, though? Yep, any land. But, guys, how long have you played Magic the Gathering? Most of you, many years. And when was the last time you played a 3 mana creature that does nothing when it comes into play? I'll tell you, it was many years ago. Mayhem Devil does not do nothing the turn it comes into play. Mayhem Devil wins the game the turn it comes into play. Guys, I can guarantee you this card does not see play. It doesn't follow the rules of creatures that see play. It doesn't. Therefore it won't. It is bad. Bank Job. Enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the bottom creature card of your library. You may cast that card this turn. 3 mana enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the bottom creature card of your library. You may cast it this turn. At the beginning of the next end step, if it's still exiled, put it in the graveyard and make a treasure. Draw a card every turn is kind of nice. The fact that if you don't cast it, you get a treasure is also nice. Well, it's not going to be a treasure every turn. You'd like to hope you're actually using the creatures sometimes, but yeah, it's just the Phyrexian Arena, innit? It's going to be bad too. I would say this will probably be bad, chat. I'm sorry, because it is cool. I would love it to be good, but you're not going to play this in an aggro deck or a mid-range deck or anything like that. It might be some sort of weird tutor. If you're playing a very small number of creatures in some weirdo deck, but I don't know what a deck like that looks like. Bind to sorcery. Counter target non-creature spell. Conjure a duplicate of target creature card in an opponent's graveyard into your hand. It perpetually gains you may spend mana. Blah blah blah. If there are 5 or more mana values among cards, draft a card from spellbook. What? 2 mana instant, negate, or draw a creature. And sometimes you also get another card too. Okay, and these are all really good too, just because they're cheap. This thing is also crazy. It's no drowning the lock, that's true, but not many cards are drowning the lock. Not many cards in the history of Magic are as good as drowning the lock. This is negate with Omega upside. It's essentially a highly main deckable negate. Insane sideboard card. This is an easy main deck card. With all these creature steals, is a no creature deck the meta break? Well, no, because if you're playing no creatures, you're just going to get farmed by 4 main deck negates. Completely destroyed. Who plays Dimir? Not many people play Dimir, but what about Grixis, baby? What about Grixis? It's never really a bad draw. I mean, this thing is obviously good. Obviously. Grixis mana base, Omega lol. Triumphs, Crossroads, Broker's Safeguard. 2 mana, instant, exile target non-artifact creature you control. It perpetually gains this creature enters the battlefield with an additional shield counter on it. Then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. So it's a protection spell that bricks removal, and then you also put a shield counter on your guy to brick the next removal. Like, that's pretty nice in theory, but 2 mana protection spells are a bit shit. Gas. Sorry, chat. This card sucks. This card is not good in a real game of Magic. This card is only good in your head when you're thinking about Magic. And, like, running a pretend game through your mind. This type of card is dog shit in a real game. But it's so good in my head. I know it's really good in mine too.
CROKEYZ, the card probably sucks.
Every time it ETBs, it enters with a shield. Yes. I can read the card. Triggers ETB effects, though. Yeah, but dude, it's not 1955 anymore, man. Your Soul Herder deck is bad. I'm sorry. Go play Cube, bruv. You're clueless? I'm not clueless, man. I am the one true voice that can be trusted. I'm not clueless. Your Soul Herder deck is bad. Your Yorion deck is bad. This is not the best option, even in your deck where you do want to protect your guys. You don't even you wouldn't even play this in fucking auras and historic, man, because you just play the one that costs 1 mana and sack off the shield. You don't need to pay 1 mana for a shield. You don't want to lose all the auras on your thing either. There's nothing to protect, dude. There's nothing to protect. These cards get printed every set and they never ever get used because they're not worth the deck building cost, man. It's better just to play another threat in your deck than play these. Don't play 1 threat and protect it, just play 2 threats. Bad. Bad? Right, let's have a quick recap, chat. Maybe? Good. Bad. Maybe? Bad. Bad. Bad? Bad. 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 I'm going to go with a maybe on this one. Maybe pushing good. Bad. Bad. Good. Bad. 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 This one's a maybe pushing bad. Good. Bad. So we've got a few good ones so far. Any disagreeers in the chat? Or have I smashed it first try? I feel like I've smashed it so far, but let's keep going. Cabarette Revels. 3 mana enchantment. Whenever you cast a creature spell, seek a creature card with lesser mana value, then put it onto the battlefield. See, now we're talking. Why draw a creature when you can just put the creature in play, bruv, for the same price? Just put it into play. Don't mess around. This is Magic the Gathering, mate. We don't pay mana for our spells. We just pluck them out of the deck and drop them onto the battlefield. Boop. Say hello to my next creature opponent. Boop. Say hello to this creature opponent. Boop. Pluck it out. Drop it on. Pluck it out. Drop it on. That's our strats. Okay. This card is all you could ever want from a Magic card. It's cool and good. Cool multiplied by good gives you a high number with this one. Therefore it's gas. Which one? The Cabarette Revels. There's only one concern with this card, and it's not actually to do with the power level of it individually. It's more to do with the power level of creatures in general. So if you're playing this in a deck, you're gonna want like at least some 4 mana creatures, and maybe even some 5 mana creatures. The problem is most of the cards in Standard or Alchemy that cost 4 or 5 that are actually playable, most of them are sadly not creatures. Like, do we have any creatures in these colours that are actually good, that are cost 4 or 5? Because think of if you're playing this in a Naya deck, right? Your 4-drops are just going to be Chariot, not a creature. Wanderer, not a creature. Scalds, not a creature. Are any creatures that have this mana cost actually good that you can put in your deck so that you can actually use this OP card? The Fleetfoot Dancer, yep, okay, cool. Good one. It doesn't have to be Naya. Remember, it can be Jund too. You can play this card in Jund even though it's called Cabarette, which is weird. Partners, guys, Partners is not good, man. I mean, it's kind of gas with this card, but so maybe it could be good in this deck, but it's generally bad. Partners are not good, Cropium. No, Partners are trash, but I could see playing it in a deck with the Revels, though. Just because it works so well with it, you just get to buff the creature you pull out. And give them haste, obviously. Helena and Elena are trash. Yes, they're trash, man. They're absolutely shit. This plus the card above it? No, man. Even you're not gonna play Back Alley Gardener even in your Cabaret Revels deck. No. Your 3 mana cards in your Cabaret Revels deck are Cabaret Revels, Fable, and like Apparition. You know? It's not fucking Cabaret Revels, Fable, and Back Alley Gardener. Wake up from your dream. But, chat, what if I introduced you to a new strategy? What about, instead of playing Cabaret Revels, what if you get your Sharpie out and you change it to Riveteer Revels and you play it alongside Fable and alongside Effluence Devourer? And you put your Revels in play, you blitz out your Devourer, you pull a 2-drop from your deck, you draw a card, you attack for 4, you put it into the graveyard, you exile it later to get a 4/4 token for 2, you've drawn, you've boom, 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 boom. You've absolutely popped off. Have you read that card? Yes, I've read it. This is the card that I previewed, man. This is the second best card in the set behind the Angel. I know that you guys are going to say it's bad just because I reviewed it. But this thing is sick. This thing is sick, dude. 3 mana, deal 4 damage, draw a card, get a 4/4 later. That's if you want to blitz it. Which you do, because you can't play it if you're not blitzing it. Alright, Chad, do you know what? I consider myself an honest streamer. And I'm going to have to hit you with a bit of honesty. Every time I read Effluence Devourer, I think it's a little bit worse than the last time I read it. But I do think it's okay though. For sure, it has to be okay. It has to be okay. Whenever you sack the Devourer or another creature, it's gas with this one that I've seen, right? Laughs and Graveyard Trespasser. Okay, fine, man. Fine. Fine. Okay, back to the Revels. What colours are our Revels deck? Because for sure, this is the first deck we're playing. Tomorrow? Cabarette Revels. Are we playing Naya? Are we playing Gruul? Or are we playing Jund? What colours have the best creatures? It's got to be Naya, right? Because Naya gives you creatures that have removal, and then you can pull them out. Imagine casting like a 4-mana Naya creature, and you pull an apparition from your deck, bro. It's so good. It's so good. Wait, Temur no, because you don't have mana for Temur. Wait, if you blitz Underdog, can you get a 3-drop? No. I'm getting baited by chat. I'm getting gaslit by chat. Stop gaslighting me. You can blitz the higher mana value creatures. That's not gaslighting. I don't even know what gaslighting is. I just saw someone say it once and now I can't stop saying it. I'm just trying to fit in with the crowd, man. I'm trying to be a modern man. Alright. You sound smart when you say it. Thank you. That's what I'm going for. Inquisitor Captain and Revels. Now you've got the cogs spinning. The cogs do be spinning. The only problem with a Naya creature deck is, you know, Omega Lol Meathook, which concerns me. You're gonna get dumpstered by Meathook. This kind of helps against Meathook. Yeah, it helps like that you get to thin your deck of creatures so that you won't draw another one so that they stop dying all the time, yeah. You get to stop feeling bad for a second. What if we play the hook instead? I don't know, it's gotta still be good though, right? This plus captain. Is it possible to play Fable and Revels and Captain and have enough creatures for your Captain? Yorion deck? It's a cool card, man. And we're going to be trying it for sure. But maybe it's a Jund card, guys. It might be a sneaky Jund card. We'll see. This plus the white creature you have to discard at end of turn. Yeah. It's hard to use, man. It's a hard card to use. Because you need to be getting use out of it like every turn. And just filling your deck with creatures is so bad. Diviner of Fates enters the battlefield, it connives. Whenever you discard one or more cards, seek a card that shares a card type with one of the discarded cards. This ability triggers only once per turn. I mean, it's pretty good, yeah, but it's just like... It's an Esper card, it costs the same as Raffine, it costs the same as Wedding Announcement, Apparition, Kaito, you know. Don't know about this one. Effluence Devourer, 10 out of 10. Obscura Polymorphist. When it enters the battlefield, exile target creature. Its controller seeks a creature card. Okay. Student cost Baleful Mastery. Omega lol. Racketeer Boss. When it enters the battlefield, choose 2 creatures or planeswalker cards in your hand. They perpetually gain when you cast a spell, create a treasure token. Yeah, so I mean, this thing is just super gas. This is a 3/2 Burning Tree Emissary that is moderately slower. It's a 0 mana 3/2 over the course of the game. But it's maybe even better than Burning Tree Emissary. Because you get to ramp a little bit later rather than on turn 2, right? Which is a little bit better. The fact that it can hit planeswalkers too is really quite nice. Alright, then we've got the Riveteer's Provocateur. The next contender for best card in the set. Don't at me. 2 mana 3/1 Menace. With Blitz for 2. When it enters the battlefield, choose a creature card in your hand without Blitz. It perpetually gains Blitz. The Blitz cost is equal to its mana cost. This is not trash. This is not trash in any way, shape or form. This thing is goated. Two mana, deal 3 to face, draw a card. It's like an insane burn spell that makes your other creatures better. Does it mean you have something like Skyclave Shade Blitz? Yes. Need some of what I'm smoking? Dude, this is an incredible Rakdos aggro card. Incredible. Two mana deal 3 to face is not great. Yeah, it's not great, but you notice that you just chose to ignore the part where you get to draw a card at the end of the turn. Teferi 5 is bad. If you pretend it doesn't have a +1. That's true. This plus underdog blitz for 2 every turn from graveyard. I guess so, yeah. Oh no, without blitz. Yeah, yeah, okay. There's gotta be some good creatures to give blitz. For example... For example... Harvester. Harvester. For example, Harvester. For example... CROKEYZ. Well, it's not that good on CROKEYZ. Trespasser? I mean, you want your Trespasser to be in play, man. Shade? Yeah, but I'm trying to think of ones... Oh, I guess Shade is in Alchemy, isn't it? Is Shade still legal in Standard? I can't even remember. I mean, Shade is an insane one then, yeah, but... It's hard to put Shade in your deck when you can just play Underdog, right? But Harvester is an insane one, yeah. There must be some others that... There has to be other cards where adding Blitz to it is good. Cat? No, it's not good with cat. Cameo of Morning? Dude, I don't even know what Cameo of Morning does. I've read it 100 times. It doesn't make any sense. Any card with a tap ability? Yeah, but I'm just trying to think what ones are there, man. Like, it has to be a card that's also good if you've not drawn a Provocateur, right? Which is why Harvester is gas with it. Priest? Yeah, dude. We're looking for Alchemy legal cards, not historic. Not Priest, not CROKEYZ. Not Cat Oven, not fucking Llanowar Elves. This one does not work with Ronin. Surely not. It's not 1 mana draw a card every turn. And hit for 2. It does work with Ronin. But don't you have to actually sacrifice the creature to draw a card with the Blitz? Doesn't the creature actually have to die? Yeah, it will work with Shade. Flame Skull? Flame Skull is just the same as Shade, right? And it's just worse. You may as well just play the underdog at that point. Alright, whatever. Anyway, good card. We'll see if we can find something on top of Harvester to use it with. Rope Line Attendant. When it enters the battlefield, creature cards in your hand perpetually gain. When this creature enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 token. Tokens are OP. But again, man, you've got to play a ton of creatures to make this good. And playing a ton of creatures is so scuffed. This Meat Hook is so overbearing over this type of card, man. I don't think you'll see a lot of this one, the Attendant. Sparrow's Bodyguard. 3 mana, 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, you may choose a creature card in your hand. If you do, it perpetually gains. This creature enters the battlefield with an additional shield counter on it. Otherwise, put a shield counter on Sparrow's Bodyguard. At the beginning of each combat, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each shield counter among other creatures you control. Until end of turn? Eh? Good with Ronin? I mean, true. 4-color aggro. Creatures in your hand? No, it's only on 1, right? So you play a 3 mana 3/3 and 1 creature in your hand gets a shield counter. It's a Bant card, guys. Bant is scuffed. Spell Drain Assassin. When it enters 3 mana 3/3, when it enters the battlefield, another vampire, importantly. Choose an instant or sorcery card in your hand. It perpetually gains Casualty 2. Pretty good. Is it? This is just it's an impossible to use card, man. You need a lot of instants and sorceries in your deck so that you can have one in hand when you use it. You need small creatures that are actually good with the rest of your deck that do something if you're not using them to sack for the casualty. And then you need to find space for this. Like, it's just impossible, man. This is Sorcerer's class all over again. It's also the same mana cost, and it's a 3-drop Grixis card. It's the same mana cost as Fable, Corpse Appraiser, Graveyard Trespasser, Kaito. The list goes on and on. Are you playing this over them? No, you're not, man. Stop dreaming. No shot. People will cast this and invoke? Maybe. You are in your bombardment deck? Yeah, but you've got no creatures to sack in your bombardment deck. You've got no creatures. Okay, and the last and final one, Syndicate Recruiter. It has potential, this card, but I don't see a Grixis deck that wants to play this instead of the other 3 mana cards that are all insane. I mean, that's the whole draw of Grixis, isn't it? You get to play all the good 3-drops in the format except Rafine. Every other one you can put in your deck. And that's just another one, isn't it? 4 mana, 4/5 flyer, ward 1. We know how OP ward 1 is. When it enters the battlefield, mill 4. Then if there are 5 or more mana values among cards in your graveyard, conjure a card named Dig Up the Body into your hand. Dig Up your Body is a 3 mana instance, casualty 1, return a creature from the graveyard to your hand. Therefore, this card is trash. It's a vampire at least. Horrible, horrible card. Well, it is a massive flyer, man. You've got to be careful with being a massive flyer hater, but it's also got ward 1, which is goated. But there is another 4 mana vampire that you could play in your deck with swamps. Connoisseur, which seems kind of better than this. Alright, chat. Some good cards there. I really think the Herald is good. Pass the Torch could be good. This manland thing seems a bit crazy. This counterspell seems a bit crazy. The Cabarette Revels. I don't know about the Cabarette Revels, man. You're going to pop off in one game, and then next game you die to Meat Hook, and then the next game you pop off, and then the next game you die to Meat Hook. And it's just going to be that over and over for hours. Sounds fun, yeah. I believe heavily in the boss. I believe heavily in the provocateur. I believe heavily in quite a few of these cards. Pass the Torch. You're overestimating the power of Meat Hook. What? Overestimating. Meat Hook is an all-timer card, mate. Ecuador! Ecuador!